Welcome, everybody, to Does That Make Sense? Episode 8. I am thrilled. I can't even put into words how excited I am about today's episode. We've teased it a little bit. We have been talking about a podcast for a really long time. And one of the first people that I reached out to, I had planned to reach out to her, and she reached out to me on Facebook and was like, "Hey, I listened to the first episode. So funny, or so great, so excited," or whatever. And we talked about it, and I said, I want to have her on. And so when she messaged me, I said, I want to have you on the podcast. I was literally going to ask about it. And she's so funny. She is my oldest friend in the world. I'm 41 years old. She's been my friend for 42 years. Because literally our moms knew each other when we were in the womb. And so we have been friends since before we were born. So I am so thrilled and pleased to welcome to the Does That Make Sense podcast, my friend, Kristy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You look so great. I am so good. This is so exciting. I think that I shouldn't have had to start a podcast to be able to have a Zoom call with you.
No, we could have FaceTimed. I mean,
we've known each other forever. And you are coming to us via Zoom from Texas. Is it Texas? Where at in Texas?
Houston, a little bit north of Houston. Mm-hmm.
And I read somewhere that the distance from the bottom of Texas to the top of Texas is the same as the distance from the top of Texas to Canada. Did you know that?
But that sounds about right.
Texas is huge. So when you say Houston, I'm like, I still don't know where that's at. I just know that Houston is a city in Texas.
Houston is in the southeastern part.
Okay.
We're probably the closest beach would be Galveston.
Okay.
But it's a crappy beach.
I've also heard of Galveston. Yeah.
So we're close to Galveston, and in that southeastern part of Houston.
Very cool. And what took you there?
I was a flight attendant for a while,
mm-hmm.
and our choices were Newark. I didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
Cleveland, which I tried, and Houston. I did actually choose Cleveland as my first choice, but they didn't send anybody to Cleveland, so
oh man,
I got based in Houston and stayed. That was in 2012.
Yeah, I can't believe how long that's been. Because I remember, the last time that, I don't know if you remember this, like what year it was, the last time that you and I saw each other, like in person. It was before that.
It was before that, but after high school? Yeah,
it was definitely after high school. I remember.
But before you got married.
When did you? I got married in 2000. I got married in 2010.
So it was sometime between high school
and 2010. So then 8-year span. I remember specifically that you and I hung out one time and we went to see the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship, the Fellowship of the Ring. And it was literally its opening weekend. And what did we say to each other when we were done watching it?
We were going to go to all of them.
Yeah, that we won't watch any of them. I think that I've only seen you once since then in person.
We only saw that one together. No. We saw... I think the last movie that we saw together was Monsters University.
Oh my gosh.
Because we used to sign emails or letters back and
Mike
forth.
Wazowski. Yeah. We really did.
Mike W.
Mike W. Yeah. You're really, I'm trying to keep my cool factor on the higher scale and we're just getting rid of it at this point. we also share a lot of Instagram posts about Power Rangers. That's an important part of our friendship as well.
I was looking to find a picture that I had sent you a while ago from when we were kids. And then I saw all those Power Ranger posts and I was like, what if we're going to talk about Power Rangers?
Oh, we're definitely going to talk about Power Rangers. Brandon, don't let me forget to give you pictures. Kristy was it my senior year or my junior year? But you were in town. I don't know. You were my homecoming.
Homecoming.
You were my homecoming date
that was senior year because I remember the dress.
Yes, yeah, that was. I got to look that up because that was 1,000 years ago and about 150 pounds ago for me. So, but yeah, so we go so far back. We grew up going to the same church, which back then we've talked about this on the podcast, like was 3 times a week. Anytime the church doors were open, like you're in the church, right? You're on those hard bench pews. I remember, I mean, we'd be sleeping there because the ladies would just be dancing, and not in like the creepy way that sounded, but like Holy Spirit dancing in those revival weeks. Do you know what I mean? And we would just be there for hours and hours. And so we grew up going to Sunday school together. I went to, like, where did you graduate from?
First Baptist.
So I left when it was like 4th grade. Like I left after 4th grade.
Yeah, it was after 4th grade.
Because that's when Dad got the pastorship here in the Youngstown area. So I went to a Christian school for 2 years there, then went to a different one, and then I went to Warren Christian. So I graduated from a Christian school in Warren. So we're both Christian school kids. How many did you graduate with? Do you remember?
14, maybe?
Okay. Yeah. You had a big class. I graduated with 5 other people. I had 6 people in my graduating class. Everybody else in the room probably graduated, in the podcast room, probably graduated with like 200 or more, because they all went to public schools. So they have their own trauma. You know what I mean? They don't know about ours, the Christian school world.
Different world.
Yeah, completely different world. When I tell people that I graduated top 5 in my class, they don't know that I only was smarter than one other person. Yeah. So I like to brag about that, but it doesn't really matter because
I was also in the top 5, I think.
Nice. See, but you're smarter than me because you had a bigger
14,
yeah.
I mean, it might have only been 13. I can't remember now.
Yeah. And then did you do any after high school? Did you do any like formal college stuff, or did you go right into the workforce?
Yeah. No, I went. I had planned on becoming a teacher, and well, I mean, I did do it for a while.
Yeah.
So I went to school for that. And then I taught preschool for a while and like briefly kindergarten.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't really for me.
Yeah.
And then like I was trying to figure out what to do. I had wanted to be a flight attendant before. My dad was against it. And
was he really? Now he just didn't like the life. Like he just didn't. Did he not like the risk?
Remember.
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, I remember some of the stuff that he said, but I don't remember everything. But like when I first started talking about it, yeah, I remember he had a talk and like a list of reasons why I shouldn't do it.
I mean, it's got to be tough on a parent, no matter what, to think about that. I always thought it was so cool of you doing that. Like I see in the pictures.
They had left, so I wasn't living with them anymore.
Right.
When I did.
Yeah. And so walk me through the timeline. So you did schooling. You were a preschool teacher, kindergarten.
For 8 years.
For 8 years. My wife was a 4th grade teacher when I met her, and she lasted about 2 full years. And then, because I had met her when she was finishing college. So she had finished college in the spring, and later that year I met her. So she was fresh out of college. She had just gotten a job, but then I don't know, what state were you in when you were teaching?
Ohio.
You were still in Ohio. So back then in her time, they kept calling it riffing, reduction in force. And so every year she would get a riff notice, and she would say, because you don't have tenure, we have to like limit who we're rehiring. We're reducing our force. You kind of are not going to make the cut. Riffed. Yeah, she got riffed, and she got riffed like every year for like 2 or 3 years, because then they would bring her back.
That's stressful.
It's so stressful. And we were like, dating, and we were talking about marriage and all this other stuff. And then a year after we got married is when she got pregnant with Ethan, and she was like, I don't want to do I want to do like the mom stuff more than I want to do the job stuff. And so she resigned. She still teaches dance because she's like, I can't do like nothing. I need to have something that's mine. And so she still teaches dance. But yeah, so if you would have asked me, knowing you growing up, if you would have, if I could pick any career, preschool teacher would have been like, oh yeah, she's like a cartoon. Of course she's going to be a preschool teacher.
Still kind of like a cartoon.
And so it's super cool. So you did that for 8 years, and then was it the flight attendant thing after that? What was the next step?
Yeah, well, Lord, making me go back in time.
Right, it feels like a lifetime.
When my sister adopted Micah,
yes,
I thought briefly that was going to be my path. Like social work kind of thing. I took 1 semester for that and decided that was not my thing.
Yeah, it's a tough gig.
Yeah, really. I don't think I would have been able to handle it like mentally and emotionally at the time in my early 20s. So I just stuck with the same old job. My parents moved. So then it was just kind of like I had to work and I couldn't, I wanted to like, maybe I'll go to school full time, but just not possible.
Right.
So it was really just kind of random. The flight attendant thing, I was like, that is something that I wanted to do. Like I wanted to do it before. So I looked at the airlines that were hiring and it was like, I think I applied for the job in October of 2011, and I didn't hear anything until April of 2012, and I got an email and I thought it was spam. And I opened it and I'm like, what is this? Like Continental Airlines. And I'm like, is this real? I almost deleted it. Like I can't even imagine luckily I don't delete emails.
Yeah. So. your 5,000 inbox messages actually is a good thing.
20,000.
Oh my gosh. I'm getting stressed out.
I could probably find that one, honestly.
Oh my goodness. Google servers are crashing just from your mailbox alone.
Probably. I need to clean it out, but then I can't find cool stuff like
like the story about how you became a flight attendant.
Yeah, like this email because I thought it was spam. So it was super random, and it was like fly to Houston on whatever date, and you'll be interviewed. Like they covered airfare for the flight. So it was a 1-day trip. Okay. So I got up super early, flew to Houston, had the interview, across a bunch of people. Like I don't even remember. Like probably at least 100, maybe 200 people on that day of the interview. And they were like leading people out. And there were like different sections of the interview, and they would hand you like a piece of paper that you moved on to the next round, but they were being really secretive about it. It was so weird. And so I remember I saw a girl sitting on a bench, and I'm like, okay, let's be outgoing. So I went and I sat down next to her, and I'm like, so are you moving on to the next round?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah. So we got to chatting, and she was a teacher too. We both ended up getting hired, and then we were roommates afterward when we both got based in Houston. So it's pretty cool. And actually, we've been talking about the flight attendant gig today.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
It is funny that you brought that up because, like, this is stupid. Do you fly often or no? Like,
I do. I mean, not as often. I do like it more. I wish I flew more, but I do fly. I mean, a few times a year. I don't fly like quarterly or super often.
Well, Continental United, they have this theme song that they use for like all their promo stuff and like their safety demos and everything. And they released this remix and they put it on Spotify, and I happened to find it, and of course. So I sent that to her, and I'm like, I'm gonna make this my new ringtone, even though my phone's always on silent. And
Yeah. So I gotta find that. I want to know what that sounds like.
Rhapsody in Flight is what it's called.
Rhapsody in Flight, and it's on Spotify, and it's the remix of the Continental United
of Rhapsody in Blue, which is there.
Oh, that's the theme song. So can you tell me? Can you tell me one? Because I mean, do you remember off the top of your head how many miles you flew? Like what I don't know. How do you keep track of that, or do you? Is that a thing flight attendants do?
You can keep track of it, but I didn't.
Yeah, because you did it for how long?
3 years.
What was the craziest thing that happened that you remember?
I don't know.
Don't know. I'd just be like, I've heard stories of people who fly a lot, and then like, one time the plane filled with smoke because something, and then it was, like that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I can't imagine being in a plane and that happening, let alone working it and being responsible. I would imagine that you're still going to experience certain elements of like uncertainty, but you got to keep it together because you're the one everybody's going to look to, Mm-hmm. But I also know that the training is, from what I remember following you on social media, is that the training is fairly relentless. Like you're pretty much prepared for almost anything and everything that can happen, right?
They focus a lot on crashes.
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's good because you never want it to happen. But if it does, you got to be ready for anything.
Yeah, I still remember, like, the commands that the flight attendants have to, like, yell in the event of, like, an emergency landing. I still remember them. Like, I could shout them out right now.
Yeah.
But, so, I mean, I would think I would be a good person to, like, sit next to on a plane because I could help. But,
Yeah, you just... It
just got, like, at the time, I don't know how it is now. I mean, I think it's probably the same or maybe even worse. But like the schedule just wasn't, I was on call all the time. And after I met, my husband now, and then I didn't really want to be gone all the time at that point. So I stayed with it for another year or so after he and I met. And then moved on.
Cool. So you did that. So you did the teaching thing, then you did the flight attendant thing, and then after
I just collect careers.
Yeah. Hey, listen. What do they say? They say, I don't know. The average person switches careers X amount of times before I don't remember what the number was. We don't even need to get into the various endeavors that I chase after, the 8 different things that I try to juggle every day. Which I love, but most people would be like, are you stupid or crazy or both? And I'm like, yeah, to all, so you met, what's your husband's name? Eric. And so you met him, and then he was enough to keep your feet on the ground. And you're like, yeah, I'm done.
Well, there was, like some uncertainty, like with the airline, they were possibly going to be like forcing people to switch bases. So there was like a possibility of having to move again. Yeah. And, going from small town Ohio to, the 4th largest city in the U.S. that was a big enough move.
Yeah. That's a lot.
I didn't really want to move again anyway. And so then it just was helpful that I had a reason to stay.
to not have to be in a Right. So and what year was that you met him?
2014.
And then you guys have been married now for how long?
Since 2016. 9 years.
Very cool. And then 9 years. 2016.
Right? Yeah, 2026.
Yeah. What month? Has it been 9 years yet? Okay, so you celebrated. Yeah. You have kids? You have kids?
I have kids.
And how many kids do you have?
3. We have 3 kids.
3 kids. And how old?
Ava is 17. Finn is 5. And Lachlan is 2.5.
Okay. And because mine are 13, 11, or will be 11. 13 will be 11 in November. And 7 will be 8 in April. So the age gap between your first and second is that
12 years.
And that Ava is his from a different relationship, right? Mm-hmm. And so can you talk a little bit about what it's like to walk into that kind of situation, especially, and I don't want to jump on top of you, but it's different. A lot of people that didn't grow up like we did might look at it and be like, oh, it's just an extra thing. Right. But there's and we've talked about it on this podcast specifically about the stuff that I experienced, right? Growing up in an uber kind of conservative religious environment, things where there was very specific order, certain behaviors, and we don't need to get into all of we could talk for 10 podcasts about that.
I could be a repeat guest.
Yes, but specifically as it relates to that particular situation, how did you process it? What kind of, did it create certain emotions? Like, how was he through the whole process? Like, what was that experience like?
Well, he grew up Catholic, so not quite the same, some similarities, but not like where we come from.
Yeah.
So the main thing, how I knew that my parents would approve of the relationship is because he and Ava's mom were not ever married.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't have to worry about the divorce and that kind of thing. So
it's such a unique,
a little loophole.
Yes, that's the word. That's the word. It's what an odd loophole that we find to justify behavior that doesn't really even need justification. Like people exist and they live and they have stories and experiences, and we walk into some and we create others with them, and it's just part of what makes it all special. Yeah.
And there really wasn't any drama as far as like him being a single father or anything like that. So, my dad got to a point at some point in my life where he decided that he could trust my judgment when it came to dating or something. So by the time I'm, almost 30 and meeting someone, then they figured I knew what I was doing at that point.
They're like, it's up to you. Yeah. If you're not right, it's your own problem. Because I faced similar stuff because Steph did not grow up in any sort of religious environment. And she actually was hanging out with two of her girlfriends from college when I hit her up on MySpace. Hello.
MySpace.
And I asked her for her phone number on MySpace. And I swear to you, my thinking was, I will not let my story be that I asked my wife out for the first time on MySpace. So I asked for her number so I could text her to ask her out. Okay.
Right.
So my story is that I texted her, that I called her, but I used MySpace as my way to get her phone number. She was in my top 8 for sure. You know what I mean? We're aging ourselves here, but, so she did not grow up, and she agreed to go out on a date with me. She agreed to give me the phone number. Right. And when I texted her and asked her if she'd like to come out, she was hanging out with her friends. And she told me after we started dating that she only agreed to go on a date with me because she made a bet with her friends about how long it would take her to scare me away. That's the truth. And I had people in my life growing up, similar situation as you in the church world, that were like, oh, she's not. And they kept on saying things like, she's not a believer, right? Like they were using all that like buzz terms, equally yoked, all of that stuff. To which I was just like, I don't even know, like, I'm no scholar, but I think that if we really looked at what these things meant, it's not what we think, And I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to date her and I'm not going to worry about it. And if I fall in love with her and we are compatible, we're just gonna let that be what it is, And I remember driving home from our first date, I prayed and I did. And I said, God, if it's not meant to be, which even now, 15 years later, it sounds silly that it's like, I don't know, you got to make it work, like things don't just magically work because they're supposed to. Like you got to make them work and you got to work at it. And I said, if it's not meant to be, then, blow it up, like make it fall apart. Right. Almost like a cop out. Like I'm going to do whatever I want. If it's not supposed to work, it's your fault, and, and you know what I mean? And but then we just kept finding more like a deeper level of, relationship and like emotional intimacy. And I just really appreciated her maturity and, all the other things. And so I knew after 3 months that I was going to marry her, and I proposed after 8 months, and then we were married a year later. So it was less than 2 years from meeting her to where we were married. Yeah. And I can't imagine like if I would have let all of that talk and all of that, whatever, like throw me off, I would be a completely different person and not a enjoyable, like good way. I'd be like so many people that people roll their eyes at now, and just be like, man, that guy, and so yeah, I get it. So you have these 3 kids, and then you've been kind of vocal about it on social media. So was it your youngest that just had like some hip surgery, and he had like, what was going on there?
Hip dysplasia. And
you didn't know because he just started limping one day.
Yeah. They usually catch it like in the first, if a kid is born with it, they usually catch it in like those first couple well visits or whatever. But he didn't have any of like the signs, like the clicking or the popping noises. He walked on time, he crawled on time, no problems. And he started limping one day. And he limped for a few days, and I made him a doctor's appointment, and I thought maybe like he had gone through a growth spurt. So I thought one leg is longer than the other one.
Yeah, yeah.
Half of his body is growing and the other half is not.
You start to think of everything. Yeah.
Yeah. I of course went down a rabbit hole of all the possibilities. But then the x-ray determined that that's what it was, hip dysplasia, and his left hip was just completely dislocated from birth. Oh my goodness. So Finn wasn't like that. So he wasn't like a risk factor. He wasn't breached. Those are all, it happens more to girls than boys. So he wasn't even any of the risk factors for it. So it was just totally random.
He's just unique in a way that you don't want to be in the record book for. Yeah. Yeah. So how old was he when you had to do the surgery?
2.
Okay. So for 2 straight years, it's been dislocated.
Yes.
Wow. He's going to have a pain tolerance of like a gladiator.
He's very tough. He's like a beast.
Well, I saw the video of him next to the Roomba. Like he's in this full like
the cast,
waist to ankles cast, and he's on one of those like scooters from gym class that we used to roll our fingers over with, and he's spinning in a circle while the Roomba's spinning next to him, just having he was having more fun than us it's the best. It was the coolest thing ever.
Those scooters are fun.
Yeah, I mean, did you steal it from school?
No, actually,
I've never seen them outside of school.
I just looked online and I'm like, scooters from gym class or whatever.
That's so funny. She Amazoned them.
I sure did, and they have airplanes on them. They're really cute.
Oh my goodness, I love it so much. And so do you do anything work-wise now, or are you just doing the hardest job ever and just crushing the mom thing?
I mean, I'm crushing the mom thing.
Yeah. Do it, girl.
I am a nurse.
Okay.
I've been a nurse since I guess officially January of 2018.
Okay.
So however many years, 7 years, almost 8 years.
Do you do hospital work? Do you do like in-home stuff? Like what is it that you specialize in?
I used to work in a psych hospital. Okay. I did that for a couple of years, and then I worked for like a private practice for a little bit of time, and then I do home health now because it's, conducive to our schedule.
Right.
And yeah. So.
That is, I didn't realize that we had so many things in common now as adults, like you doing the psych thing, and then, me in the mental health world. I have so much enjoyed. I have been cackling in my house having the group chat with you and your sister, just randomly. And I've let my wife read some of it, and just watching her face when she's reading it, I'm like, we could, there's nobody on the planet who is going to fully grasp like what and how we're talking to each other. Because it is as unique, because it goes, I keep going back to my parents' house on Roosevelt Street or Avenue, whatever it was, where our parents are playing categories into what felt like the middle of the night. And we're just
it was all-nighters.
We're the ones that are like, guys, be quiet. We're trying to play Mario Brothers. Like, it was because my sister's 3 years younger than me, and I don't remember her like super engaging those moments, like with me and you, but she was there.
No, she and I would go play while you and my sister would hog Mario. Yeah,
we hogged Mario, and then you guys would go play because that's just
or whatever.
To this day, my sister's mad at me that I never let her be the lead spy when we played Spy on Mom. And so we'll have to have a roundtable session here. But real quick, I got to say, I take a lot of pride in calling you my oldest friend.
Likewise.
Because people don't stay friends with people, and
not from babies.
Not from babies. And one of the things that I've always loved about you and our friendship is that it doesn't matter how long we'll go without talking. We can talk like we've talked every day. Yeah. And I love that. And I think that that's beautiful. I think that it needs to be celebrated. I think we need to talk more often. But there's sometimes if you can pick out the nice things about life, things are just a little better, and a little sweeter. And I think that our relationship is one of those things. So, yeah. We talked about the Super Mario Brother Marathon, which to this day I've still never beat the game ever from start to finish. My kid can do it in 9 minutes, and I still have.
What?
Yeah, he found a speed run online, and he memorized it, and he could beat Super Mario Brothers in less than 11 minutes now.
I've never beat it either.
Yeah, never beat it. And I've tried on the Switch, and the controls are so different that I just get angry and rage quit. And I have to be a better example to my children.
I played with my friend on the Wii a while before I moved to Texas. And the only, we did finish the game on the Wii, but the only reason that I was able to also finish the game was I was playing as Luigi was because of the bubble thing. That you can, I was in a bubble for almost every
level. Yep. Nope. I get it. I fast forward to the Switch coming out in Super Mario Odyssey. There's like a thing at the end of it where you have to beat this level, and it's like a culmination of all the levels put together, and you only get like 3. If you get hit 3 times, there's no like extra hearts halfway through. Like you're just done. And the only way that I beat it was that he's like, that you can set like an assist, Dad, and anytime you die, like the little guy with the fish, the fishing rod, like plucks you out and puts you back where you're supposed to be. And so when I beat it, he was like, "Nice job, Dad. You did it. You beat it. You beat it." And I was like, "Okay, Ethan." It's getting into like, I feel like you're just mocking me now.
But could he beat the old one? I mean,
I don't know. He did it on the Switch. I don't know if he could do it with that brick of a controller that we used to play with back in the day. When we're sitting there, blowing into the cartridge, like somehow that did something. I swear it worked, but the science behind it just doesn't add up. So everyone did it though. Everyone did it, and then I remember you knew before it came on if it was going to work because of how the lines looked on the screen. Man, it's a miracle we even survived. Honestly,
seriously.
So, what does your husband do? What does he do?
He works for our county. He is like the assistant director of the IT department.
Oh, nice.
Of the county. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we love the tech.
He's an IT guy.
Yeah, we love the tech world around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Brandon blew a kiss to the tech world. And so yes. So you've got 3 kids. I mean, we're just kind of catching up, and everybody's just kind of listening. So that, you know, if they've made it this far, then they've seen the friendship as it should be.
Yes.
So what's next? Like, do you guys have any exciting things coming up? Like big events or birthdays? Like, you know, your anniversary was in May. Like, what's next for Kristy? What's coming up? Anything?
Honestly, this summer has been tough with Lachlan's surgery and his recovery.
You're probably happy just to have some chill time.
If we can even call it chill time. He's kind of a demanding little guy anyway, but even more so with, you know, this whole experience. So he went from being an independent sleeper to a co-sleeper, and he wants, you know, and I know that it's just a phase.
Yeah. It can be rough though.
But I wouldn't say that we really have any chill time because right when this was happening, Ava's nurse went on maternity leave.
Okay.
So I love her, you know.
Yeah, but you know what?
I got to meet her baby. Her baby's adorable.
Yeah, but you know what?
Last week.
Chill out with your own life stuff happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got stuff going on over here.
We just kind of roll with the punches as much as we can.
Yeah.
So we don't have anything planned. The next birthday would be my mother-in-law, which she doesn't like birthdays, but she is the next one, and then my sister-in-law, and then Eric's birthday is in November.
Oh yeah, that's my kids. I got 2 kids in November. Now, you had mentioned Ava's nurse, and what is, like, I know that we've talked about this a little before we went on, and I don't want to pry too much, but just out of curiosity, because you post some stuff on social media, obviously lots to celebrate. She's got like a rare, talk a little bit about Ava as much as you're comfortable.
Ava has spinal muscular atrophy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a form of muscular dystrophy, kind of. It just affects like all the voluntary muscles, but it doesn't affect her cognitively. So, you know, apart from the physical aspect, she's a perfectly normal teenager, you know, with all the moods and sass and, you know. And
she said she's how old? 17?
Yeah, she turned 17.
So is she a senior in school?
She is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, I might be making this up, but wasn't when she was diagnosed with this, did it have like, she's kind of beating the odds, right?
Yeah. When she was diagnosed, there were no treatments available, and so since then, and she was diagnosed when she was. And this is before
you were involved in the family.
Yeah, she was a few months old, and there were no treatments available at the time. And since then, there's been a lot. There's like spinal injections that they do, which she got for a while. And then there's another, what is that? She did another type of medication that we were able to do at home. It didn't require the injection because the injections were kind of, you know, risky and took a lot out of her to kind of like stop the progression of the SMA. But they also have like gene therapy that they can give newborns now, which is huge for the SMA community because they're, you know, I've seen some families do like support groups and stuff that their children born with the exact same diagnosis that Ava has, but they're walking, you know, like Finn and Lachlan. So I mean, we're a medical family, I guess.
Yeah. I remember when now that I'm like playing this back in my head, I knew that you were a nurse because I don't know if you remember this, but I tried to convince you to come back into this area. And
I do remember.
One of the things that you said was like, I don't know if there's like any hospitals that can handle like what Ava needs. And I was like, the Akron, one of the best children's hospitals in the country is in Akron. You know what I mean? And I'm like, it's like 50 minutes from us, and I'm like, you're a nurse. I need nurses at Safe House, and I'm like doing all this stuff. And I'm over here like uproot your life because I want to play Super Mario Brothers. And it didn't work.
We gotta get our significant others to play some categories.
Seriously, we gotta care. We have a legacy to obtain and to uphold, and we are failing. True. We're failing our children. Terrible. We need Ava's sass and my two daughters' sass to be dealing with us playing categories. I remember one time, I don't know what was going on with your dad, but he was just drinking straight up lemon juice out of the little squishy thing. I don't know what was going on, but I remember thinking to myself, this dude is on a level that I will never be.
I think that's probably still true.
This is a side note. You know this, obviously. When my dad was a pastor, this is more for the listeners, but when my dad was a pastor, we built a bookstore, which was like part of the church's organization. They had a bookstore, and we kind of built this building and franchised the bookstore. Fast forward a few years, we turned that bookstore into the very first like Safe House, which was the after school program. Your dad built that building.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and I'll never forget because he stayed up here for, he was coming back and forth, and he was staying up here during the week, and he was building it. And I'll never forget because he kept track of how many nails he used, and then did like a raffle, like guess how many nails we used. And I don't know what the winner got.
What was the prize?
I don't know. I can't remember. But our church probably would have called that gambling, and you don't get a prize. You get like a crisp high five. Do you know what I mean? Like you won, but nothing because that's sinful.
No, maybe if food was involved, it would have been.
You get a gift card to probably like a buffet. That you could only use it on Sundays after 1:00. Yeah. So the people don't get that joke. Sunday dinners were like, you had Sunday dinner at like 1:30 when we were growing up at church because you didn't have time to eat dinner because you went to church, you went to dinner, you went home, you cleaned up, you changed, and then you went to another church service. So that was Sundays.
If you even had time to change.
Yeah, just walking back in here in a completely different Sunday message, not even have a chance to apply the first one. And 2 offerings? What were they thinking? I don't know what they were thinking. You know what I mean? And my dad made his money off of, like, he got paid out of the offerings because that's how pastors got paid. So like there was 6 people in our church when we started. I think I had ramen noodles and hot dogs for 5 years straight.
Our church was really small too.
The one we grew up in wasn't. I mean, that was like the biggest one. It was like the biggest one that we were a part of. That I was a part of.
Yeah.
So your dad built. So we got like the connections are like dad worked with your dad when we there was all kinds of stuff.
Does he have any Hawk Construction merch?
I would imagine that he's got some T-shirts. Yeah.
We need to ask.
Yeah, I need to figure out for my dad
if he has an original one. I mean,
we got to figure that out. It needs put in a frame.
Yeah, we made some.
I saw that.
We had some new ones made.
Yeah. I'll never forget too because your dad's got a unique situation because he experienced. I mean, the story that I was told is that it was construction related, but he had an issue with his eye, and as a child growing up. It was construction related. I never know growing up if somebody's just making stuff up. Now I have trust issues apparently because I was told that it had to do with something with construction. And now as an adult, I'm like, was people just making this up?
No, it's true. Yeah.
And because I always remember as a little kid, I would catch looking back, I'm literally playing moments over my head where I was so rude because I'm just like, staring at your dad's eye that was damaged because of a construction accident. And, he was always so great, and so I have no idea what we were talking about before we went off on that tangent.
Him building
he built the bookstore, which became Safe House. So when I talk about Safe House on the podcast, Bill Hawk was the guy who put hammer to nail, and built the framing and did all the construction. And then my dad did most of the finish. And then everything else was, after that. So it's just crazy how everything is connected. Cause that was 25 years ago, 30 years ago, almost that happened. Cause we moved 30 years ago, just over 30 years ago. And then it was more than that. It's been like 30. It's been a long time.
Fourth grade, we were 10.
So yeah, 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah. And so and then we built that building maybe 5 years after that. So 25 years ago, but it doesn't feel like that long at the same time.
No, it doesn't. No.
That's crazy. And then, so here's what, I don't want to keep you super long cause I want to honor your time. Cause I know that you got babysitters that are helping watch the kiddos and take care of stuff. But, I did want to, we're going to have your sister on too. We'll just send her the Zoom link and we'll have everybody on at the same time. And I won't give too much away because I know that we want to be like nice. But one of my things that I want to do on the podcast is I say that I want to create a little chaos that's controlled to try to make sense of chaos we don't have control over. And that includes everything from church stuff. You know, I've talked about on the podcast, the Acquire the Fire stuff. And you know, did you ever, I told you, I said, did you watch the documentary? And you were like,
I didn't watch the documentary.
I'm going to pace myself. You said,
I'm still pacing myself.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I think if you know yourself and if you need to pace yourself, because it's intense. It's intense. And so we're going to have Pam on and we're going to talk. Pam's got some unique stories too, because you had mentioned she adopted and then she had a kid after that, which was a surprise because adoption came because they didn't think they could have any kids. And so that I remember when all that was happening, it was like, wow, like surprise, you know?
Right.
And so we're going to talk a little bit about parenting. We're going to talk a little bit about childhood and some of the stuff. Maybe we'll hit on, you know, some trauma, but we won't go, we'll do it. We'll dip our toe, you know?
Sure.
But here's what we have to do. We have to figure out a way to connect in person with our spouses. Everybody needs to meet everybody. I want to meet your kids. You would love all my kids, but my youngest she would adore you. She is like a little unicorn. We call her the little unicorn. Because ironically enough, nothing is, I guess, traumatic in terms of medical as like you kind of power through every day. But when we went and did the 12-week quad screen for Emerson, they couldn't find the second gender chromosome. So they thought that she might have what's called Turner's syndrome.
Oh, I've heard of that.
And so it's not the worst thing in terms of a diagnosis, but there could be some physical malformations. There could be there's some heart issues potentially. There's some reproductive issues potentially.
Well, anything that is out of the norm.
Yeah, it creates whatever.
Freak out about. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I remember, and I hate Google. I really do, because the nurse came in and said, we can't find the second gender chromosome. It means that she might have Turner's. Don't Google it. And then she leaned in real close and we're like, yeah, right. Like, what are you talking about? Don't Google it. And so of course we're going to look it up immediately. And I've never told you this because we haven't talked at all since Emerson was born, except for just back and forth with pictures or whatever on Instagram. I didn't realize immediately at the bottom of the sheet that they gave us with the quad screen, it said positive percentage rate 9%. And I called them and I said, wait, we've been freaking out for 6 months. Does this mean that there's a 91% chance that this test was wrong? And they were like, yeah, that's why we put that on there. And I was like, oh, we could have just ran a second test. Like, what are you talking about? You know, we were going to a high risk doctor every 2 weeks for like 6 months. And she was pregnant for 4 years. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Because we were doing 3D ultrasounds. We were doing blood work like crazy. We were going every 2 weeks. And that poor high risk doctor was like, what I was worried about 2 weeks ago is fine, but I found this new little shadow that I want to keep an eye on. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And then we go in 2 weeks and he's like, that shadow's gone. So it was just had to do with the scan. But now I'm noticing this little thing here that could be like brain fluid, like piling up. So I want to watch that. 2 weeks later, everything's good. We don't need to see you for 3 weeks. And we walked out of there thinking, we got 3 weeks. We don't have to worry about it. And then 3 weeks later, he's like, oh, I see this, and then Emerson ended up being born like a showgirl, just out, like full head of hair, like just this magical being. So we call her a little unicorn because she created chaos, right? And she doesn't sleep either. Like she's not a co-sleeper. She's not a independent sleeper. She's a night owl. She doesn't sleep at all. So she likes to nuggle. So that's what she says. She wants to nuggle. And she's like, I don't get tired unless I nuggle. I'm like, I think you're just stalling bedtime. So, but anyway, I want to say that this was a treat. An hour is not nearly enough time. I can't wait to talk to you again. We absolutely have to connect. I'm going to have you on. I'm getting ready to take Steph away for a week for her birthday. So this podcast is actually going to air the week that I'm gone. So I can't wait to come back to the messages and hear what everybody thinks of it. And if you're watching this on YouTube, comment. Like, I get a lot of text messages about the podcast, and what I want is for you to tell that stuff to everybody else too. Hit those comments and those likes on Facebook and on YouTube, and share it and tell people about it, because we're having a lot of fun and it seems like people are enjoying it. I just tell people about it. So yeah.
You want other people to engage. I'll tell my circle of
I know that you said
want to tune in and watch us.
Yeah, so it drops. We do like a live premiere Tuesdays at 10 a.m. and then it's just on YouTube after that. So like you can watch it almost like it's live, but then it stays on, forever. So this coming Tuesday, 10 o'clock Eastern. And so awesome. You're the best. Thank you so much for taking some time. Tell the whole fam, I can't wait to meet everybody. And we're gonna make it happen. So stay by your phone. You'll probably be like, man, I liked it better when he didn't talk to me as much.
No, just don't call me because I won't answer.
Yeah, I get it. You won't even know that it's ringing. So I love you to death. Thank you again for taking some time. And we're gonna talk real soon.
All right, sounds good.
All right, you're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Everybody, one of the weirdest things about me catching up with an old friend is, if you have stayed around for this whole time and you've watched this entire thing, I hope that what you saw there was just like the purity of like an old friendship, and sometimes it's hard. I watch podcasts and I'm like, this conversation's not for me. Like where's the funny or where's the whatever? We call this, Does That Make Sense? Because we want to, like I said, create a little controlled chaos to make sense of chaos we can't control. And Kristy and I grew up in super similar situations. We've known each other a really long time. We've been through similar things. Some of it made sense, some of it doesn't. And friendship helps make sense of things that don't make sense. So I don't know. Not everything has to be serious or have a message to it. But if I could just encourage this one thing, go talk to people that you're close with and tell them how much they matter. Like, take a minute and go tell people that they're important to you and that you are happy they're in your life. And if it feels weird, fine, because the next time it'll feel a little less weird and it'll become easier and more natural. And it not only does it give them life, but it gives you life, because you're celebrating the things. Because I'll tell you what, and I know this is true today as it is every day, life is full of stuff that doesn't make any sense, and it hurts and it's heavy and it's hard, but it's also full of stuff that's beautiful and that it matters and that it's worth it to talk about it and to celebrate it. So this has been Does That Make Sense? Episode 8. I want to say thanks. Stay tuned for next week. And call somebody, tell them how much they mean to you, and then do it to somebody else, and then do it again. We'll see you next week. Bye.